Hi, I'm Alexander, and today we'll take a look at the budget gaming desktop deck and headphone amplifier K5 Pro from Fosi Audio. This sample was kindly provided by Fosi Audio in exchange for my honest review. As always, I'm not paid to say anything in particular about the product, and all thoughts and opinions in today's episode are my own. K5 Pro, not to be mistaken with FiOS, K5 Pro is a budget and compact desktop gaming deck and headphone amplifier with a microphone input. It supports PCM decoding up to 96 kHz via USB and up to 192 kHz via optical and coaxial inputs, but there's no support for DSD or MQA. The device is compatible with PC, Mac, PS5, PS4, PS4 Pro, Nintendo Switch, and even a smartphone. There is a lack of budget decks with a microphone input on the market, and Fosi K5 Pro, in my opinion, perfectly fills the gap. The device is shipped in a large carton box that says Hi-Fi Made Fun on the front. Inside the box we have Fosi Audio K5 Pro deck amp, USB-C to USB-C cable with an adapter to USB-A, optical cable, headset microphone 2-in-1 adapter cable, and user manual. The deck has 3 inputs, it's USB, optical, and coaxial, and also it has built-in microphone input. With the outputs we have 3.5mm headphone output and unbalanced RCA line outs. USB sampling rate is up to 24-bit 96 kHz and optical coaxial sample rate is 24 bits 192 kHz. According to spec sheet, the recommended headphone impedance is from 16 ohms to 300 ohms, and output power stated in the spec sheet is 1000 mW or 1 watt into 16 ohms, 500 mW at 32 ohms, 300 mW at 64 ohms, 120 mW at 128 ohms, and 80 mW at 300 ohms. But I doubt it, and we'll talk about it later in this review. Total harmonic distortion is below 0.003%, signal-to-noise ratio is 110 dB, and the device weighs 251 grams. Now let's talk about design and build. The unit is 85mm long, 30mm high, and 105mm deep. The body of the deck is made from metal, it's CNC machined and has a gunmetal finish. On the bottom of the unit there's a 4 rubber feet. On the front of the unit there is 3.5mm headphone output, 3.5mm microphone input, 3 LEDs for inputs indication, and 3 knobs, 2 of which are bass and treble controls, basically a simple EQ, and the third one is a volume knob. The knobs are 12mm in diameter, they are textured and they are nice to the touch, and the movement of the knobs is smooth. Both bass and treble knob have a click in the middle, so you can easily reset your EQ. The volume knob has 3 functions. By rotating you are controlling the volume, short press switches between the inputs, and long press powers the device on or switches it off. On the back of the unit there's a USB-C port, optical and coaxial inputs, and unbalanced RCA outputs. The metal casing gives K5 Pro both sturdiness and the ability to shield the device from external electromagnetic interference. Overall, the unit feels very solid in hands and the gunmetal gray finish looks stylish. Now let's talk about pairings, controls, and my user experience. I was mainly testing this deck with my PC running Windows 10. When you connect the device, it gets detected right away. I would also like to mention that supplied USB-C to USB-C cable has also attached USB-A converter, which ensures compatibility with many devices. Important point is that device doesn't automatically power on with your PC, and you need to manually switch it on every time. I have also noticed that the device doesn't remember the last selected input after you power it off, and it resets it to USB input every time you switch it on. In my opinion, that's a small disadvantage. According to the manual, the device provides high power ratings, which I doubted as soon as I connected my 250 ohms Biodynamic DT1770 Pro and 300 ohms Sivga SV023 and Sennheiser HD 6XX. With this trio, I had to turn volume knob past 2 p.m. to get a good volume level, but turning the volume knob past 3 p.m. with this high impedance headphones trio was introducing a bit of audible distortion, which is unfortunate. The output power is clearly not enough to make any of the above mentioned pairs shine, and the relative volume I was getting out of this device could be compared to my less powerful devices that have output power rated between 200 mW and 280 mW at 32 ohms. Coincidence? I don't know. Maybe it was my unit or there's clearly a mistake in the specifications sheet regarding the power ratings. Anyway, as most gaming headphones and headsets have much more lower impedance, I think most gamers won't lack the power and the device will provide them with a comfortable level of volume. With less demanding headphones and IEMs, the device is absolutely fine, but with sensitive IEMs there was a bit of noise that was audible while no music was playing. Still, I wouldn't recommend to use this DEC amp with headphones that have impedance higher than 150 ohms, but less demanding full-size headphones and headsets will perform well, and the device will have a lot of headroom left. Now let's talk about the built-in hardware EQ. I personally think it's a nice addition, and while it's not a studio-grade EQ by no means, the ability to add some bass to bass light headphones or a bit of treble to dark headphones really helps to clean up gaming sound landscape, help with positioning and improve the gameplay, especially in competitive online games. Usability of knobs is a different question, as all three knobs are located very close to each other. There's a very limited space for fingers to properly turn the knobs, at least it was in my case. The microphone input on the other hand is good. I tried several headsets and microphone was quite loud and clear. The quality of microphone input is surprising, plus I didn't hear any noise with the headset microphones. As there's a lack of budget DEC amps with a microphone input on the market, I think Fosi K5 Pro perfectly fills in the gap. The unbalanced RCA outputs located on the back are constantly on and are controlled by the same volume knob on the front, and unfortunately they don't turn off when you connect your headphones. Now a couple of words about sound signature. From an audiophile point of view, K5 Pro is lacking a bit in sound quality. While the overall signature is coherent, I noticed that there was minor lag in the bass, which can be corrected by bass EQ knob. Details are below average and overall sound presentation is a bit cluttered. I kept switching forward and backwards between K5 Pro and my topping D10S, SMSL SU6 and my Moto M2, all of which are based on different DEC chips from ESS, and yet K5 Pro is least analytical and clean sounding DEC amp out of the bunch. But from the gaming perspective, this device is absolutely fine and will probably make a lot of people happy. Let's summarize. K5 Pro is a well thought out device with a lot of features and attention to detail. Fosi tried to put as many features in it as possible, while at the same time they kept the affordable price tag, and I need to mention that they did an impressive job. As a gaming DEC amp, it's very capable and I'm pretty sure there will be a good synergy with most headsets and it will make a lot of gamers happy. On the downside, the device questionably high power ratings indicated in the spec sheet should be taken with a grain of salt, as in my example the device was struggling to drive headphones with the impedance of 250 ohms or higher. Pros: good design and solid build, well thought out sets of included accessories, good microphone input, built-in hardware EQ, compatibility with many platforms and affordable price. Cons: not for audiophiles and people seeking analytical sound, volume knob introduces an audible distortion past 3 p.m, questionably high power ratings indicated in the spec sheet, and a bit cluttered sound presentation. Despite a few cons, K5 Pro is a very capable device and is, in my opinion, a great value for the money. I can easily recommend it to anyone looking for a budget gaming DEC amp with a microphone input. It will drive most headphones and headsets in the 32 to 150 ohms impedance range just fine, it's compatible with many platforms, has well thought out controls, built-in hardware EQ, and comes with a nice set of accessories. Alright guys, that's all from me for today and I hope that you enjoyed this review. If you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to my channel and click the bell icon to receive new video updates. See you in the next episode. Goodbye.